Do I have to call on each person? That,
You're on.
okay. All right, this is the Greenway Advisory Committee meeting on February 20th, 2023. I would like to thank everybody for being here. We do have a full quorum this evening. I'd like to officially call the meeting to order. Our first motion would be to approve the minutes from last meeting.
I make a motion to approve the minutes.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? All right, our first order of business tonight is to elect a vice chair of the committee. Do I have any nominations?
I'm going to nominate Carissa.
I second that motion.
All right, second from Ms. Skinner. All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Congratulations.
Yay, Carissa.
All right. In addition, we have Andrew here this evening with us talking about the extension of the Greenway to Hurricane Creek.
Yes. So in your packet, on the second page, I have added a picture of the proposed Greenway is Phase 2 of the Hurricane Creek Greenway extension. It's approximately 1.3 miles. This will hopefully be submitted over to the Corps engineers this week. So basically what this is doing is just kind of setting the initial phase of what they are willing to approve in the construction of the Greenway. Everything that we've added in this Greenway proposal will be not necessarily constructed at the very beginning, but anything that is submitted to the Corps up front can be added at a later date without having to go back and redo the drawings. So if you see on your map there, the Greenway starts at the roundabout where near Shreveman and Stones River are at. It goes all the way down to the Hurricane Creek boat ramp. This will have, in the proposal, a couple of piers, fishing piers, that will go over onto the lake. Also, at the far end, closest to the boat ramp, there's on your map there, it's hard to see, but there's a brown trail. That's a proposed nature walk from the actual paved asphalt surface over to the boat ramp. Down below that will be at the corner side of the boat ramp is a proposed kayak launch. So that's a very requested thing that we've had from citizens, so it's a popular and upcoming sport. The Greenway trail itself will be paved. It's up to the Corps of Engineers whether or not they want to propose an 8 or 10 foot. Like I said, we've submitted that to them. We're trying to get feedback on that from right now. The paved surface will end at a proposed parking lot that is closest towards the boat ramp now. Like I said, that may or may not be built in the first initial phase, but we wanted to add that in there just in case in future time frame that we want to build that. And also a picnic pavilion is also included in this proposal.
We need that real bad out there.
I think it'd be greatly used.
I think it would.
I mean, the walking trail, even though it's not a trail now, it's greatly used. So I definitely know when the community, the section we have, Phase 1, is highly traveled now. So when that gets added, I know fishermen and women will definitely use it, and also just avid outdoor.
Now, the Corps engineers, they're responsible for the parking on the lower half.
They
is that
are.
correct?
That would be fully under their responsibility.
Okay.
That would not be maintained by the city. The only thing that would be, basically, it's a lease agreement with the Corps of Engineers. It's our responsibility to maintain the walking surface, trash, mowing, stuff like that. The actual, if we ever do build a structure, that would be our responsibility, but the current boat ramp would not fall under our obligation.
Gotcha.
Got a question to ask about pavilion. I know it's ahead of time. Would it be like people could rent it like they wanted to have family get together? Or?
Possibly. I mean, that would have to be discussed later down the road. I know a lot of our park pavilions are rented, but I mean, it could be a first come, first serve or a rental option. So that's something we could definitely run by this board.
It would be ideal.
Yes.
Be an ideal spot.
What's the current width of the existing greenway?
I believe it's approximately 10 feet.
Okay, and that's what we'd be asking for?
Yes.
Okay.
And that's what's proposed now, I believe, is what is the current T-dot walkway surface is what is proposed, but it all has to do with the Corps environmental whether or not they're wanting to disturb that amount of land or kind of narrow it up a little bit.
And then it's 1.3 miles from the roundabout
From the roundabout to the,
boat launch?
well, it'd be the parking lot there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry, I can't quite make out
It is
certain
hard.
things here. Would there be continuous access attached to the existing greenway?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, it would tie directly into our current greenway, all the way to the actual road going into the boat ramp now.
Okay.
How many of these picnic tables are underneath these covers? These, looks like there's like 8 or 10.
Probably so. It's, like I said, it's not exactly drawn to scale just because this is the initial proposal to the Corps.
How
We
many
just
of
want to
those-
make sure what they're good with before we go deeper into it.
How many of those will there be?
The pavilion,
Yes.
it would be one down towards the parking lot.
Okay.
Are we only proposing one pavilion at this point, or,
At this point,
okay,
the issue is, the Corps is very big on environmental changes, and they don't want to see much change to the current existing landscape. So we're trying to be on the safe side and add amenities, but we don't want to hurt ourselves by adding too much and getting our proposal denied.
well, I also think about how much I see that ramp utilized for picnic purposes. I mean, I boat there every week, all summer long, and it is the beach, if you dare call it a beach area, is heavily utilized.
used.
That I can only imagine if you actually had
A picnic shelter.
a shelter, how
And
much
that's
that's
why I said it might be a first come, first served shelter.
Yeah,
Because, I mean, we do want to provide amenities to our citizens, but then we don't want to create controversy either. So
sure.
that's something we would definitely run by this board, but
Who is the point of contact of the Army Corps engineer right now? Or who's kind of like the point person?
they change. I forgot his last name, to be honest with you, but the proposal is being sent to a gentleman named Tanner. Like I said, I forgot his last name, but that is the first initial contact. He's kind of their environmental officer that reviews it, and then he submits it up the chain of command there. And once we've been told it could range anywhere from 3 to 6 months, depending on their processes. So hopefully by the time we have a meeting next time, we'll hear some feedback. But
Do we have a time frame on when, let's just say when it would start, I guess?
as of yet, not,
No,
because, like I said, it really depends on,
yeah,
we're at the mercy of the Corps engineers.
right.
What they
What does the
understand.
overall project timeline look like though, start to finish on this?
Start to finish,
5 years, 2 years?
hopefully within 2 years. Like, once we get approval and the BOMA approves
Right.
it, hopefully it would be constructed in 2 years, once all the financing and funding. Now, that is not 2 years from today, that's 2 years from
Start.
once
Yeah,
all
right.
the approvals are finalized.
And are we still looking at grants, or do we have current
I
grants?
think this is gonna be a 100% funded by the city on this project.
We gotta go through each one of these walking paths, these docks, or
The,
whatever they're.
you wanna go through the pictures here?
Yeah.
On the top left,
No, we have to get approval of what you wanna do, these pictures of what you wanna do at each one of these sites, and we gotta get approval.
yes, so
Each one of these.
the Corps of
first.
Engineers, the proposal is submitted to them and they approve it as a whole.
Right.
But you have to get your easements for environmental to approve each different, recreational activity you have there. Like, so each fishing pier, kayak launch,
Right.
your pavilions, your parking lot,
Everything.
anything that's added has to go through their environmental to make sure they are okay with it and we're not disturbing any kind of wildlife or protected resource.
Andrew, do you have any thoughts about volunteer opportunities, like what this would look like? I know this is kind of long-term, but what this would look like, perhaps, maybe we could get some Boy Scouts to do picnic
I
tables.
know in the past,
Or if there's liability associated with that, that's not gonna be an option, I don't know. But what are your thoughts on that?
I know in the past on the current phase one, Comcast has had an employee work day where they've came out and did a trash and litter pickup. So stuff like that, I don't see why. Of course, we'd have to run it by city administration and our legal team, but I don't see why that couldn't be volunteer opportunities for our community.
Yeah.
They're all being funded, makes it really,
And of course, like right now, our police do the cops and bobbers fishing. So if we had fishing piers, they might be able to do some more community outreach that way also.
kayaking's got really,
Yes,
Great.
kayak is very big in the Middle Tennessee area.
Or even like Eagle Scout projects for a
Right.
bench or something like that
Exactly.
along the trail or,
I know we've always taken the Boy Scouts out there for cleanups and stuff like that, and Jim's nodding yes, he knows.
I'd like to suggest something, looking at this.
Okay.
You got that walking trail that was in Brown?
Yes.
I see people trying to walk or navigate along Stones River Road, and it's very dangerous.
Very dangerous.
And you will have access now at Lake Forest to walk that area. And I was thinking it would be a nice idea to consider if we could do a cutout right at Laverne Lane also, and have like one of those brown trails that connect to it.
Okay.
So then that way you'd have access for a good portion of Lake Forest to gain access to that trail and be safely walk, not have to be on Stones River.
Yeah.
So I would suggest that one adjustment, one, potential change, if, I don't know if people think about that, but, and then we'll see what happens when, future years, if we ever extend it further down, you could do the same thing at like Forest River, but we're not asking for it tonight, but I'm just thinking that would be a great place, a nice cutout where people could get bikes and,
Yeah, I don't think that's
That's a
definitely
long
something we
way.
could propose. Like you said, Stones River is highly traveled now,
Yeah.
so.
It'd be nice to have a way for people to get down that road.
Yeah.
Good idea.
Any other comments, questions, concerns about that project?
Is there any funding for the existing portion of the Greenway that runs upwards down near Shreedman? Is there,
Not that I know of.
okay.
I don't believe so.
Think about that, like, those forestry mulchers that go through and kind of do some cleanup, just along the road almost, it seems like there's, not where the cypress are by the roundabout, because that's beautiful there, but as you go further up, it gets kind of overgrown looking, and I'm just wondering if I don't think it would be that much money, but I don't know how much I'm talking yet, but doing some cleanup,
I understand what you're saying.
Yeah.
A lot of the parts of the Greenway are city property and parts of them are Corps of Engineers.
yeah,
So that's where we kind of get the hang up. They don't want to let us disturb any more vegetation than it's already currently there.
right.
And I know, I believe there's one section that used to be cut out, that there's turkeys that live in there. So they want to kind of keep that overgrown, so that's
Okay.
nesting areas.
Is that closer to the road, or? is
That's
it-
closer to the road, actually. Yeah, that's,
Yeah, we wanted to.
kind of towards the neighborhood side. And they like it kept probably 2 foot tall, just for that reason.
Right. Might be a good idea, maybe on a Saturday, not apart from a meeting, just to go take a walk and take a look at the whole thing, just kind of, just see what it's like, what the experience is like on the existing portion.
Yeah,
And
there's
see if
there's
it's
still there's still parts of the old road bed there. There's still pretty solid drainage that's there that was built probably when the work programs were instituted, like the CCC or something like that. So, I mean, it's a lot of it's pretty decent, but like I said, of course, you're gonna have to make a trail that's 8 to 10 foot wide is gonna be pretty substantial from what's there now. So.
Is there a rough cutout of a trail where we're anticipating?
Periodically. I mean,
Okay.
it has been surveyed, but really what's left is what's remaining of the old roadbed.
Oh, okay.
So there are dips and trees growing, but some of it's still pretty vacant.
Yeah, my great-grandson and I, when he was here, we left my house, crossed the rail and went all the way down Old Stones River Road to where the bridge used to be. And I was pointing out, and I said, there's a house here, and there was a house there. And it was a good thing the water was down. and I showed them where the two houses was there. And then I showed him where the other houses was across, and I told him, I said, right back there, I said, used to be a cellar. He said, what do you mean a cellar? And I said, where they kept their food. And I said, we can't go there today, but I said, if you want to tomorrow, I said, we'll both have long pants on and we'll go there. And we did. And he said, my nanny said, I said, I am your nanny. He said, no, my grandma said, there used to be some Indian mounds back here. I said, they're all underwater now. And there was, I think, about 3 small hills, and it's all underwater.
Did not know that.
But we've been there 64 years now, so I've seen a lot happen out that area.
I think the community definitely wants this, and it's needed for our community. It's going to provide additional recreational opportunities,
Right.
and anything that you can better your community, I say it's a go,
I think so.
personally.
Uh-huh.
So,
Yeah, because when you start mixing, like you boat every week, when you start mixing people, they want to go over on this side and they want to feed the ducks and they want to let their kids fish over here. And then you have all those people coming in with their boats. It's just too much. So it would be nice to give our citizens a separate area. So they're kind of out of the way of all that traffic. And they can put their kayaks or they can take their little kid, like my grandson, he's 4. He likes to go down there with his little fishing pole and fish and, feed the ducks. But then over there is just such a mess.
and just allowing, there's a lot of kids that don't have big yards, or they might live in an apartment, just allowing them to get out in nature.
Yes.
That's something that they'll remember growing up, and allow them to get out and enjoy it.
Yeah, because when, I think it was 2 or 3 years ago, we would go over to Long Hunter and rent their kayaks and stuff and, go out there. I'd rather do it here than have to go all the way to Long Hunter. So I think this is good for our people.
Yeah, a while back, we had some squatters out there that, they were Mr. Hessman knows, was living out there.
If you have more people involved, maybe they won't feel so at home to stay.
I hope not, because I'm getting to where I won't walk out there by myself anymore.
Gotcha.
I never know who's gonna pop out.
I was thinking about what Ms. Skinner was saying also about some historical aspects to the area. Do we have like a city historian, or I don't know if there's someone with the library or whoever might know? It would be neat to have like a plaque or two along the way. I like to also go to the Greenway in Smyrna at Lee Victory, and going back through there, there's, property where enslaved people are buried now, and there's a plaque there. Anything that we have about the area's history, I think would be really great to highlight as well.
As we,
Property owners or, whoever.
like on the Greenway now, we have like the bird watching station where you can see the different local birds. I'd definitely say that we would probably add some interactive or just visual learning aids throughout the walking trail there, just to kind of signify what's happened on that walking trail, or history of the lake, or
The Corps would know that, wouldn't it? Wouldn't
yeah,
they know?
yeah, most definitely. We could definitely probably have some of those set out there, and just, usually those are on the current existing trail is where the benches are at. There's like a little reading section that's posted with the local, like the rock walls.
Right.
Those are out there to show the significance of those.
You could even, so that it's sort of evergreen, I guess, for lack of a better term, you could have printed things, but also have like a QR code there, where folks could scan it with their phone, and then it would come to a website that could have updated information if anything became updated, or even like an audio file that they could listen to learn. There's, I think, lots of, especially for accessibility reasons, right? Like, not everybody can read a sign or, whatever.
Maybe
There may be
pictures
other-
of what it looked like years ago, like the mound she's talking about. This is what it looked like years ago. Check it out where you're standing. Yeah, that would be.
That could be maintained on the city website, so it could be so it could be kept up, and then all of the accessibility could be run through translating programs to the multiple languages in our community. So that would give equal access to everyone.
Yep.
So that's a great idea.
Speaking of accessibility, wheelchair accessibility on some of these
This-
projects, all of them?
If this is built to TDOT specifications, that is ADA compliant, just like the current existing trail is. And that has to be maintained through TDOT and the Corps every couple of years. I believe there's a report that's sent to the city that we fill out and submit back. Now, of course, the the nature trail will be maintained as good as possible, but
Right.
the actual hard surfaces will be ADA accessible.
Right.
Now, does that nature trail, is it already a pre-existing path that people have been walking, or is it one we're going to create?
Probably a little of both. So,
Yeah, you find, going through there, you'll find where they've been walking.
like I said, these are all
Quite a few times.
goals of the city. And then when we get the response back from the Corps, we'll bring that back before you all and let you see the revised plan, or maybe they're good with everything. So once that comes back, we'll go over this again before we submit this to BOMA and for funding and future building project here.
Does this go to the Corps before May, before our next meeting?
This is submitted to the Corps this week, hopefully. Our consultant, Reagan Smith, that has designed this for us, they are submitting it to the city for final approval, and then it should be submitted by the end of this week, is what I was told about a week ago.
Okay.
And once that goes through, like I said, it could be anywhere from 3 to 6 months, depending on the Corps'. Hopefully, it's faster than that, but that's the range we've been told.
Yeah. I know this is kind of a last minute mention if we're submitting this so quickly, but any possibility of like a beach area? I mean, I know that there's tons of them around the lake. I mean,
It's possible. I mean, I guess we could run that by. I'm gonna say from a maintenance standpoint
yeah.
and a safety standpoint, we're not gonna have a lifeguard down there. Or
Yeah.
if we do, and it really depends on the Corps too. If we propose that, I think the reason we didn't is because of litter, stuff of that nature. They're trying not to disturb it as much as possible. So the stuff
Yeah.
that we've added in here would have the least impact is our goal. Not to say that it's not possible to touch base with them.
I mean, talking about, disturbing the area, you look across the way and there's a commercial marina right there. So,
I understand
mean,
that.
just boating this lake the last 5-6 years, I mean, there's several beach areas that, I mean, I think our community would enjoy, utilize. I feel like there's minimal disruption if you're just
Yep.
kind of adding sand.
It's definitely something we can
You
run
know,
by.
I would
consulting
love to
firm.
see something like that incorporated in there.
Okay. Any other questions, comments,
Maybe
concerns?
this, what are the summary of kind of the changes we asked or talked about?
So far, the nature trails to the different areas in the Lake Forest area, our beach area she just commented on, and visual aids, kind
Yeah,
of
I like that, right.
boards and QR codes,
Mhm.
so we can reach our community.
Yeah, I think specifically, like I said, Laverne Lane would be good right there, do a little cutout in the guardrail. Because I think that's the only road before Lake Forest that accesses it, and I think it serves a lot of people there.
Now, are they still talking about a walking trail from the boat dock all the way down around Vaughn Wood and across?
Further down,
As of right now, this is the only thing
This
that's,
is that-
this is it for
okay.
now.
Okay.
I do know on the other side of the existing entrance into the boat ramp, there is a protected area, so I don't know how much further we can go honestly with what we have now, but that's what the Corps has told us.
like some flower or something.
Possibly, they say
That's
it's
flower,
highly
flower,
protected, so
flower.
I don't know if we can honestly go much further than
Right.
what's proposed here.
I want to say thank you for your work. This is going to be very good for the community, so I'm hopeful that the Corps will approve it as is.
Any other comments, questions, concerns about the project? No? Our next meeting will be held on May 15th, 2023 at 7 PM. I have no further comments, just thanks everybody for being here. Andrew, thanks for your hard work, putting the project together. With that being said, I call the meeting adjourned.